Hello and welcome to Eye on Africa. I'm Clarisse Fortuné. Our top stories. In Kenya, the court says no, but President Ruto says yes, he will deploy the police to Haiti on a mission to help the country with its fight against gangs. Less than a month to go before the presidential election in Senegal, EU mission observers are already on the ground to ensure free and fair elections. From Ivory Coast resurrection to heavyweight exits and underdog successes, it's time for the Africa Cup of Nations to take a break and reflect before the quarterfinals. Kenya will go ahead with plans to lead a UN-approved security mission to Haiti. This despite the fact that a court in Nairobi blocked the deployment last week. The 1,000 Kenyan police officers are expected to tackle the rampant gang violence in a Caribbean nation, which killed nearly 5,000 people last year. Our correspondent in Nairobi, Olivia Bizot, explains.
Well, it's the latest chapter in the saga. Kenya's President William Ruto has said that he's going to go ahead with plans of sending 1,000 police officers to Haiti to help tackle violence over there. He said that they're going to be sent to the Caribbean country as early as next week. Now, he made this announcement despite the High Court having clearly said last week in a ruling that it was illegal to send police officers on a peacekeeping operation and that only the armed forces should be allowed on such a mission. Kenya's government has said they're going to appeal that ruling, and the US has encouraged them to do just that. So when did this whole idea of sending Kenyan police officers to the other side of the world, to Haiti, to help tackle violence and insecurity over there begin? Well, Haiti's government launched an international appeal asking for help to tackle the increasing amounts of violence it was facing back in 2022. And then last June, Kenya's government offered its help. It said it could send 1,000 police officers to the Caribbean country in support. But that plan has been criticised by a huge amount of Kenyans, by the opposition and by human rights groups, especially by Amnesty International, who say that President William Ruto is putting international gratitude, especially from countries like the US, over the lives of these Kenyan police officers.
The European Union has sent a team of electoral observers to Senegal with less than a month to go before the presidential vote. The deployment comes at a time when democracy in a West African country is under threat, with political opponents in prison and key candidates sidelined from the race. For more on this, Sam Bradpiece in Dakar.
There are now dozens of EU election observers in Senegal, and that number will swell to more than 130 in the weeks to come. The delegation was invited by the Senegalese government and is led by a Swedish MEP called Marlene Björk.
We will bring our small contribution to this process, I hope. That's to say, we're not going to interfere in the electoral process as it stands, but we will come up with recommendations from an in-depth analysis based on all the observations of our long-term observers who will be on the ground for several weeks, including after the elections, and will be able to follow the whole process.
Critics would say that this attempt to safeguard Senegalese democracy has come too late. Key opposition figures like Ousmane Sonko and Karim Wade are unable to run in the presidential race following rulings from the country's Constitutional Council. Meanwhile, another important opposition candidate, Bassirou Diomaye Faye, is still in detention. Human Rights Watch say a sustained crackdown on the opposition, on civil society and on the media here in Senegal is at odds with the president's promise to hold free and fair elections.
And in other news, hunger is back on the front line in Ethiopia. At least 370 people have died in the regions of Tigray and Amhara. The results of war in the Tigray region and the horns of Africa's worst drought in decades. Recently, the president of Tigray's interim administration said 91% of the region's population was at risk of starvation and death. and the situation was, I quote, beyond the administration's capacity to handle. And 350 Egyptian migrants are being sent back to their home country from Libya. Authorities say their new anti-immigration body has started the process of deporting foreign nationals who are in a country illegally. Already on Tuesday, more than 300 migrants, mainly women, have been sent back to Nigeria. Many come to Libya in the hope of reaching Europe by sea, while others have lived in a country illegally for years. Metal cable theft became such an issue in South Africa that authorities in Cape Town created a special unit. Copper cables are mainly stolen from mines, but also from railway stations. Vandalism costs billions to the economy and affects every citizen. Cable theft results, amongst other things, in power outages and telephone lines cut. Eunice Masson has more.
Because of the high number of cable theft incidents in the province, the city of Cape Town established a specialized metal theft unit. Its primary mission is to track down copper thieves.
This is plumbing pipe that was acquired somewhere, same as this, also copper pipes.
The metal theft unit visits the ever-growing number of scrap metal dealers daily, as here in Hillview.
Sometimes there's people that come here for a valid reason. They come, they bring their copper for food, you know. And then there's the ones you get that steal for drugs.
Cable theft is everywhere and impacts water supplies and even street lighting. Between October and December, Cape Town recorded almost 400 cable theft incidents. In addition to security, legislation needs to evolve to curb the scourge.
I think our record is about 276 arrests a year. In the past, the problem has been that these arrests didn't go very far. So as fast as we were arresting people, the courts were putting them back on the streets with very light sentences. And now national government has made that impossible.
Criminals face up to 20 years imprisonment, but the problem is far from solved. Hard hit during the COVID-19 lockdown, railway stations struggled to recover. The National Railway Company, PRASA, already had to replace 650 kilometers of cables. Yet cable theft incidents continue almost daily, requiring greater interventions and funds.
We want to deploy technology to assist us in early detection. There are two types of technologies that we are trying at the moment. It is drones, and the second one, it is sensors along the track using fiber optic technology.
The state imposed a 6-month ban on copper exports and intends to renew the ban, but it is considered a double-edged solution that encourages illegal markets and enrich criminal groups.
This AFCON has been full of twists and turns, from Ivory Coast remarkable resurrection to heavyweight exits and underdog successes. This Africa Cup of Nations has really been unpredictable. Elam Toblé, our sport specialist, is with us and he has been watching closely. Elam, welcome. So as I said, lots of surprises.
Exactly, you said it all. There's a lot of surprises. Who will be imagining Ivory Coast back to life this week? Ivory Coast was beaten by Equatorial Guinea 4-0, and everybody was thinking it was over for the host nation, but they are back in life, and I think, for me, 2% represent that resurrection, if I can say it like this, for Ivory Coast, is the coach Emers Faye and Jean-Michel Seri, a midfield who was on the bench all the competition and then came in during the last game and everything was okay. Everybody knows that Senegal have difficulties against that team of Ivory Coast during AFCON, and it's again the same thing, and now the champion is out. And then Ivory Coast has a dream to go into the final. We can also talk about Morocco. Morocco against South Africa, the Bafanas have a really great plan, was being back, wait for Morocco, and in counter-attack, expecting this goal who can make them pass Morocco. And the plan was simple, but you have to execute it, and they did it really well. 2-0, and Morocco was semi-finale of the World Cup, is now out. That's a lot of surprises.
It was a big surprise, yeah.
Exactly, a big surprise. Nobody was expecting Morocco out against Bafanas. There is no more lions in this AFCON, because there is there is other animals, but there is no more lions. But out the lions of Teranga, the indomitable lions, and yesterday the lion of the Atlas of Morocco. Now Nigerian is advanced masked as their star player, striker Victor Osimhen. They might be one of the contenders for the rest of the competition.
So the quarterfinals soon, then the semifinals, the final. Any more surprises we should expect?
Oh, we should expect a lot of surprises because I think in this competition, every time you are like, okay, it's over, everybody's out, there is no more surprise, there is another big one. So we have a lot of matches coming. You have the game between Nigeria and Angola. Nigeria clearly is one of the favorites now, but you also have Cabo Verde against South Africa. They are the two biggest outsiders remaining, and I think after this game there will be only one, and I think that will be the first semi-final. That will be really great for them because to go to that stage of the competition. And you also have Mali, who is one of the greatest nations of football of the continent, but never won this AFCON. Maybe it's the year of Mali. They have to play against Ivory Coast, the host. That will be a great game to watch. Also, could Mali pass the Ivory Coast and won his first championship of Africa in Ivory Coast? That's the question. And also you have DR Congo against Guinea. DR Congo 2 years ago wasn't the best side in Africa, but Pierre Desage, who came from Niort in the second division of France, make this team another team. Maybe they are not the greatest I think like forward, they don't have the greatest forward, they don't have the greatest defense, but they know how to win. And at this stage, when you come to the knockout stage, the most important thing is to win. So everything is open, and I think this semi-final, this quarter-final, you have to watch it. That will be really, really interesting.
It will be very interesting to see the underdogs how they perform and surprise everyone. Thank you very much, Elam Toblé. I'll be watching, and the next game is on Friday.
Exactly, on Friday.
And with this, we end this edition. Thank you for watching Eye on Africa. Stay tuned for more news.